Welcome to Fire Breathing Kittens, an actual play podcast where every episode is a microplot, complete adventure with beginning and end that fits into an overarching microplot of the whole season. Because they stand sturdily on their own, you can listen to these adventures in any order and can skip any you don't enjoy. Today we are playing the combat mechanics from DC-20, a game in development. We are currently using the 0.8 version of the game. It's our first time playing, so we might make some mistakes. If you enjoy these mechanics, you can find DC-20 on their website, and you can build your own character and play the game with friends. Speaking of friends, today we are joined by Grum.
Grum Ozar. I'm an 8-foot-tall construct of stone and metal. I have tanzanite colored eyes. I am currently playing the fighter class in DC-20 with a might of 3, an agility of 1, a charisma of -2, and an intelligence of 2.
Thank you. And Freya.
My name's Freya Bumbleroot. I'm a short halfling. I'm an older lady just trying to get out there and see what the world has in store for me. I am a druid in this system. I have a might of -2, an agility of 2, a charisma of 2, and an intelligence of 3.
Very nice. And last but not least, Hefty, please.
Hi, everybody. I'm Hefty.Elphus. I'm a possum. I'm a class of bard and an ancestry of beastborn, parentheses, a possum. I have a might of -2, an agility of +1, a charisma of +3, and an intelligence of 2.
Very nice. All right, everyone. Today, the guild received a request from a rather off-the-path town of Briarfen. They've been having some villagers go missing, and your party is the one who decided to take that particular quest. Unfortunately for you, Briarfen is really off the beaten path, and it doesn't look like the guild sprung for the best of accommodations for your travel. So you have been on a rather creaky, leaky raft for the last 2 days or so. There is an older elf who has been guiding you through the root-choked canals of the swamp. His name is Boggin Whisperwillow, and as the raft creaks as it glides through the black, stagnant water. The air is thick as soup, hot, wet, and filled with the hum of biting insects. Sweat clings to your skin. Every breath tastes like mildew, and something beneath the surface lets out a low, slow, bubbling groan. The last 2 days of your lives have been spent on this, we'll call it a boat. It's little more than half-rotten timbers held together by seaweed and swamp grass. A simple tent and a small tattered sail are all that adorn its deck. There might not be many ways to get to this cozy little Blackwater, but it looks like the guild sprung for the cheapest option they could find. Trees loom on all sides, twisted and hunched, covered in moss. The water stinks of rot and decay. Nothing moves fast out here except the bugs, some of them nearly the size of your hand. At the rear of your raft is Boggin, your guide. He is a wiry, one-eyed half-elf with a face like dried leather. He leans on his pole, pushing you ever forward at the slow, patient pace of someone who's done this way too many times. He introduced himself and gave you a simple warning when you boarded the boat. Keep your hands in the boat. Don't answer anything that calls out to you from the dark. And if you see a lantern that isn't mine, don't follow it. Oh, and always keep a light on you, day or night. Beyond that, he hasn't said much beside the occasional curse as a, quote, sucker bug or a no-see-em manages to get a good bite on him. But I would like to know what the party has been doing for the last 2 days as you travel through the swamp.
Grum is very uncomfortable around water. He has probably been as close to the center of the raft as he can so that it stays nice and balanced. He tends to sink, so he is very uncomfortable on bodies of water, especially those of which he does not know the depth.
You're going to love this adventure.
As a druid, I actually think Freya probably would have made this the boat her domain space, which grants me bonuses and things inside of it, but just to make it a little more homely, and I feel like in my domain space, it's sort of like I am the druid that controls it, so I keep the bugs away as best I can, and that's what I've been doing, but bugs and swamps are just another part of nature, so I don't think Freya is terribly bothered by it.
Keep that idea in mind. I'm sure that'll serve you well.
And Hefty is in her element. I have free food landing on me on my fur. It can't bite me because of my fur. And I'm just like, snacks.
Okay. Your guide would let you know that you're about 4 hours out from town. And I'd like to use this opportunity to enter into our first skill challenge. I'm going to read you all a prompt, and after the prompt, I'd like to know how all of your characters react to this. DC 20 is a little bit different. It's very free form with what your characters can do. With a skill challenge, you tell me what you want to do, and I'm going to try to tell you what kind of role you can make rather than when you can or can't do it. If we're all ready, as you slowly move through the swamp, you really haven't seen much beside trees and fetid puddles. But slowly in the distance, you begin to see a soft light that grows stronger as you get closer. The swamp around you grows still, unnervingly so. No frogs, no insects. In fact, as it goes silent, you didn't quite realize just how loud the swamp had become over the last 2 days. You only hear the occasional drip of water from the twisted branches above. Mist clings to the low surface, curling like smoke across the black water, and every dip of the boat's pole seems to echo just far too loud. As the boat draws nearer, the light resolves into a scene before you. You see a young woman, early 20s. She clings desperately to a half-sunken log. Her soaking clothing is plastered to her skin, her breath coming in ragged gasps. One hand grasps the lantern above the water. It's in a white-knuckled grip. The other claws at the slick wood of the log beneath her. She looks right at you with pleading, terror-filled eyes. "No! Stay away!" she screams in a voice tight with panic. Suddenly, her hand slips off the log, and she falls beneath the surface. A small splash, and a too small light fading beneath the water are all that remain. Soon even the soft ripples fade. What would you like to do?
I assume there was no time to react between when we saw her and when she went under the water, correct?
You wouldn't have much more time to kind of dash forward. You're too far away to have done to affect anything, and you're on a boat as well.
Okay, so I'm outside of magic range?
Yes. While the scene plays out. We'll say you enter range as soon as she slips beneath the waves.
Grum will look to Boggin. Danger, or can you get closer?
You're saying, she's beneath the wave. She's already gone. That's danger. I won't be getting any closer.
Well, that's not strictly true. She's not already gone because I can inspire her and give her a temporary HP every turn. Can I do that? You can't die if you get 1 HP at each turn.
You need to be able to see your target to do so?
You said that I could see the light, right? And also, here, I'll just read it. Bardic Performance. You can spend 1 AP and 1 MP to start a performance that grants you a 10-space aura for 1 minute. Choose one of the performances below, while creatures of your choice are within your aura and can either see or hear you. You can't hear music underwater. It's just all blah, 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 wobbly. They benefit from your performance. So she should be able to hear me if I'm loud enough, which I can get pretty loud.
I would like to ask then for a performance, or I would also say... you could do a spell check if you like. And
okay, I'm going to play my ukulele.
Please do.
Yeah, all right. So it says inspiring. I'll just read this. The chosen creature gains 1 temp HP at the start of each of their turns, which I read as not dead. She's not dead because she gets 1 temp HP each turn. So even if she's losing HP from the drowning, right? Okay. All right, here comes the ukulele. Okay. Now. Caveat for the listeners. The player is learning the ukulele as the season goes along. Hefty's great at the ukulele, but the character ukulele skill high. Player ukulele skill, I'm learning. I picked up the ukulele for the first time with episode 1 with Hefty. So, with that said, There's a house in New Orleans they call the Rising Sun, and it's been the ruin of many a poor possum. And God, I know I'm one.
Bravo.
Bravo.
Don't die, lady.
Can I please have that roll?
Yes. So I have the musician, what is that called? I have the musician trade, so I get a +6 to my ukulele rolls
Oh, nice.
for skill checks. Yeah.
A flat 6 or a plus D6?
A +6.
Oh,
And I also have a +4 for my influence skill, which is charisma based. So I'm going to be adding 10 to this. And the dice is a 6, so that's a 16.
a 16. I also should have added the explanation that this skill challenge works very much like making any kind of check within TC20. There is a challenge DC. For this one, it is 12. When you beat it, you get a single success. If you beat it by more than 5, you get 2 successes. Beat it by more than 10, you get 3 successes. So you got a 16, you beat it by 1. You do succeed in your attempt. That is 1 pass. You need to get, there are 3 players, so you need to get, I believe it's 5 passes before you get 3 fails to make this work. I'll check 1 in the pass column. I wasn't going to give this information out, but you successfully managed to cast your spell. However, you feel that it doesn't connect.
Sorry, I feel like it didn't connect.
So that's your action, Hefty. Grum or Freya, how would you like to respond to this stimulus?
And then in the meta, I'll say, it might not have connected because she might not have needed any temp HP. She might be an enemy.
I'll never tell.
Freya knows better than to jump in the water in a swamp she's not familiar with, so she is, well, that poor lassie, I guess, something terrible is going to happen to her, but there's not much I can do.
Cold.
That's
Would you like
nature,
to do
baby.
anything? This is very free form. You can do anything, just as long as you want to make a roll.
So I think Rum was initially crouched like he was going to leap from the raft towards the woman until Hefty made her announcement. So I think instead he's going to pause, take a minute to think, and use, either investigation or survival to look for things that would normally be seen when somebody goes beneath water, bubbles, any kind
I would
of
accept
movement
either.
on the surface.
Whatever you're better at.
Both are the same, so it does not matter. I rolled a 16 plus 5, which would be 21.
That would beat the DC by 9, so that is 2 successes. And did you roll investigation or survival?
Survival, I think.
With survival, I would say as you look at the spot where the girl disappeared, you realize that the ripples are unexpectedly smaller than you would expect. That's redundant. But more importantly, as she's torn away, the log didn't move.
Understood. He'll look at Hefty and Freya and say, decoy?
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. That would explain why she's not benefiting from my song like you all currently are. 1 temp HP per turn.
Freya, do you have an action yet?
Yes. I assume that there's stuff growing on the log, correct? Like
Yes.
plants or moss or
Absolutely.
whatever. I'm going to use my skill of wild speech plants, and they understand basic things. I can communicate with them in a very basic way, and I'm going to ask them, why didn't the log move?
Why did
I
the log
assume
move?
Grum told us he saw that, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry.
What would you like to roll? I would say you can make a spell attack roll to cast your spell or to communicate.
It's not a spell, it's a class feature I have that I can just talk to plants like I talk to people in very basic ways.
And persuasion, I suppose, to see if they'll talk back.
Okay.
or if they want to answer truthfully.
So that's a charisma, correct?
That'll work.
I love that you can talk to plants,
2.
but like whether or not they care.
Yeah. 14 plus 2, so 16.
16. That is another success. I guess it would have to be 4 for 3 players. So, okay, you all managed to pass. That is a successful completion of the first skill challenge. So the plants will answer back, and they say something along the lines of, why would it have?
Oh, it was an illusion. I can't hear plants.
Wasn't there a girl just holding on to you a minute ago?
No, but as you did succeed, they will tell you that there is a rather large something beneath it.
Okay, everyone don't go in the water. There's something big down there.
Really? What did the plants say?
It said there's something big under the water, and there was no girl holding on to the log a minute ago.
Oh, that explains why my spell or bardic performance didn't reach a target. There was an illusion girl. Well, hi, big scary swamp monster. We're just gonna float over you. Hope you have a good time eating other people.
So we're
Definitely
here
a
to
decoy.
we're here to stop people from disappearing or investigate disappearances, correct?
As soon as you say monster, the elf at the back starts furiously pulling you away from the location you're at.
Oh, but we're the adventure. No, we're the cops. No, don't.
It's like, you can solve this problem when you're not on my boat.
That's fair.
There is land to jump to if you would all like to. No?
What if we jump on that land, Boggin, and you get to a safe distance? Would you be okay with that? Just don't leave us.
You can do whatever you like, and if you're still alive at the end of it, I'll come back for you. How about that? He hasn't stopped pulling the entire time. He's just like...
Grum, can I stand on your shoulder while you make the jump?
Absolutely.
And I'm a little old lady. Someone's either going to have to toss me or...
I think I can handle both of you. I do have a feature called Mighty Leap, which means I can use might over agility for a leap. So, I also have athletic skill, which may help in addition.
Sure. The bank of the, at least where the land is only about 10 feet away from the boat. Although I forget exactly how jumping works in DC 20. Let's just make it an athletics roll rather than dive into the
Jumping
rules.
is on page 65. Jump distance. Long jump equals jump distance in spaces. Here's an example. A creature has a jump distance of 3. If that creature takes a move action to gain 4 spaces of movement, it can move 2 spaces before performing a long jump that can cover up to 2 spaces. And then a
probably a
standing
might
jump, a creature
warrior.
can forego moving before performing a jump. However, its maximum jump distance is halved for the jump. So just straight D&D rules. No, they're different. Sorry, DC 20.
They are
It's an homage.
Yes,
Let's just
an
make an
homage
athletics
to
roll.
the word-for-word rules from D&D.
I believe that's called sampling in music.
Yeah.
This game is definitely meant to be a bit of an answer to some of the complaints about D&D.
Fair. Definitely fair.
Your other 2 compatriots have climbed onto your back and asking for assistance, if I understand correctly, for a leap. I think I'm going to ask for an athletics roll. Do I want to impose disadvantage because they're on your back? I kind of do, yes. I'm going to impose disadvantage, please.
Okay.
That's fair.
And that is rolling 2d20s as usual.
So we're not using the jump rolls.
So I rolled 2 13s. Plus my
2
athletics
13s?
is 19. I rolled the same number on both dice.
Yeah, I decided to just make it a roll because he's carrying you anyway. It's, I don't know if it has jumping plus extra weight on there, but that is a success. You managed to land on the bank of the little bit of land. So as we're looking at, or as the scene is playing out, the raft is heading up the river north, and you have just jumped off to the east where the little bit of land is. The log encounter happened immediately to the west, so it's just on the other side. You're going to find when I do combats, by the way, I really like just making an X and doing a grid, north, south, east, and west. And when you're inside of the grid for doing Theater of the Mind, if you're in the same quadrant, if you're in the north quadrant with whatever you're trying to get to, you can reach it. If you're going to the next quadrant, it is your full movement to get to the next quadrant. Does that make sense with simplicity's sake for combat-wise?
Yes.
As an aura user, I freaking love it because that means I hit everything.
Pretty much, yes. This is definitely more positive for you.
Yes, you can all hear my music.
So, you leap off to the bank, and since you did so successfully, I would like to ask for a vision-based awareness check. Is the perception skill in DC 20?
Would that be everybody or just me?
Yes, everyone who would like to.
I'm going to take a pass because I have advantage on smelling-based awareness checks, but not vision. I can't see squat.
That wouldn't help you right now.
A natural 20 for a 25.
Very nice.
Wow. You do all the rolling.
I'm using them all on these bad rolls. When we get to combat, I'm going to be in a lot of trouble.
Freya, did you do a perception roll? Did you want to?
I rolled a 9. What do I add to that?
I didn't hear the roll.
I rolled a 9.
A 9. You don't see anything. Oh, and in DC 20, please do tell me what you actually roll plus your modifier, because as you'll get used to, it does matter. Whether you succeed by 5 or whether you fail by 5 has consequences. With a 20, Grum, you were the only one to see a bunch of bubbles that are rising up from below the water directly behind the raft as your ferryman is trying to pull his way away. You can act first before what look like a bunch of tentacles come and grab the ferryman off his boat.
Okay. I do have a ranged option. I have 3 javelins, so I will take one of those javelins and throw it, I guess, at what I think is going to be the center of these tentacles.
Sure. Make an attack roll, please.
Sure. And remind me again, it is... Okay, +4 attack, spell check. Got it. That is an 11 for a 15. So 11 plus 4.
And how are you attacking again?
I'm throwing one of my 3 javelins.
Your javelin sails through the air and lands true as it hits a rather meaty bit of tentacle. You can tell it was reaching up around the boatman. I forgot my own NPC's name. And it had been just about to pull his pole out of his hand and probably him with it. But with your intervention, he manages to escape, and you can see a mass of tentacles revealed as it bursts from the water. We are going to roll initiative now, everyone. And I will roll as well.
I rolled a 3 on the dice. What do I add to that?
For initiative.
We're rolled twins, Hefty. I also rolled a 3.
Okay, initiative. It is pulling up now. The initiative doesn't have the math for the initiative in the initiative section. That's
I believe it's your roll plus agility.
Dex plus your agility.
I think so, yes.
Yeah, I believe it's plus your agility. Well, actually, I'm sorry. Initiative, that's why it doesn't make sense. I forgot how initiative works in DC 20. It depends on what you're doing. So initiative in DC 20 is entirely reactive to the players. If you're going to cast a spell as your first action, then your initiative is your spell check. If you're going to play a song, then you would do a performance check. And I will... whoever has the highest between you or the opposing team will go first. And initiative in DC 20 is a taking of turns between both sides. So you guys will go first, and then the opposing team will go first. And I believe in the 0.8 rules, there's a set initiative, but for the player's side, yes. So your rolls will still matter. Your initiative will be set.
Did the javelin get the attention of the creature?
Oh, yes. Yes. You can tell that there are tentacles rising up from the depths.
Are they coming toward us or toward the raft?
It looks like it's kind of undirectional right now. It's just sort of flailing about angrily. You upset it pretty bad.
Okay. Let's see if I should try something. So, and this is just an observation. When Boggin was pulling, how long is that pull?
Very long. That thing is a solid 15 feet long. When it's done, he has to kind of like walk it back, and then it's almost the length of the boat, and then it'll kind of go up, and then it'll just walk it down again.
Okay. Then I think I will throw another of my 3 javelins at the creature, seeing if I can get it to come in. Oh, wait a minute. I am going to do a maneuver, I think.
Okay.
I'm reading my sheet. I am going to taunt.
Ooh, interesting. I don't think it's supposed to work. I'm not sure if it's supposed to work this way in DC 20, but if your roll beats the monsters, I'm going to have your roll like actually have effect rather than make you re-roll again for the same action kind of thing once you're in the turn order. It's a little ambiguous in the rules, so I think I'll just, rather than multiple rolling, I'll just have, whatever you roll will.
Right. Well, what it says for taunt is I spend 1 action point, choose an enemy creature that can see or hear me within 5 spaces. Make an attack check, influence check, or intimidation check, my choice, contested by the target's mental save.
Okay.
And the target is taunted, disadvantage on attacks and spell checks against creatures other than me on their next attack or spell check.
Okay. I guess we're going to have to play it. So the monster for its initiative rolled a 19. If I'm using your rolls as actually affecting the monster instead of doing initiative and then having you guys roll again, we'll have to see if you can beat that 19 to go first.
Understood.
I believe they changed this in later editions.
And if that is the case, I believe I'm going to try and use my intimidation skill instead of my attack skill.
Sure.
Just shy. I rolled a 12 for an 18.
18. All right.
So 12 plus 6.
Can anyone beat a 19 with what they would like to roll?
No, I got a 3 on the
yet?
dice.
You got a 3, and then Freya?
I also got a 3.
Fantastic. The monster gets to go first. All right. Well.
So everybody should know you have 1 temp HP from that first round. Maybe it's gone off for 2 rounds. I don't know. What do you think, Jim? I got 10 rounds total of it.
Let's say that you had 1 round of surprise, but so you'll have that +1. And this will be the second round of official combat.
Okay, so everybody, you just mark that you have 2 temp HP because it's the second round. We're going to have 8 left coming if you live that long.
I like the optimism. I really do. All right. So you might not have intimidated it, but you definitely got its attention. Its tentacles will burst from the water, and they will make a attack roll of, does a 21 hit you?
Who?
So that would be my physical.
The Grum, yes.
That would be my
the spear and yelled. Yeah, it's your physical attack. Yeah,
my physical attack. That would actually end up being, I believe, a heavy attack against me because 19 is my heavy number.
Nasty. Okay. It does a base 1 damage. When I get a heavy hit, it does an additional 1, and I get to ask you to make a physical save, please.
What kind of physical save?
That is up to you. It's basically whatever your strongest stat is. This would be like a prime physical save. If you want to dodge your way out, then they would be agility. If you want to punch the tentacle and make it rebound, that would be a might.
What I meant is this going to impose a condition, and the reason I say that is because I have physically sturdy, which is advantage on saves against impaired, deafened, or petrified.
It is trying to grapple you right now.
Okay, so grappling is not going to help. Understood. So I am making you said a save, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So that would be, for me, I guess that's... so I made a 10 plus 4 might athletics, which would be 14.
14. That is a success. It it tries to wrap you up with its tentacle and pull you under, but you manage to. Well, how did you manage to dodge out of the way of the tentacle?
Grum does carry a very large round shield. So when the tentacle comes up, instead of letting it wrap around him, he imposes his shield to deflect the tentacle.
Very nice. That was its first action used. It is probably going to just use the attack action again. That would normally be at disadvantage, but it's going to use its third AP to get rid of the disadvantage. And it's going to attack Hefty this time. That is a 22 to hit.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I have a... I guess I shouldn't use my character voice for this. I have a physical defense of 12, so that doesn't sound good for me.
No, so that's 2 damage, and instead of the third damage, it imposes the physical save, please. And again, this is whatever your best physicality is. If you want to dodge out of the way, then you can use agility. If you want to strength your way through, you can use might.
So may I use...
Acrobatics would also be more sense.
May I...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
May I use a maneuver to help Hefty?
If it is something that you can do off of your turn, then yes. If it's reactionary, certainly. Would you like to read the description?
So creature, let me see, I've got multiples of these. Okay, so I'm going to use a reaction maneuver. Protection. A creature you can see within one space is hit by an attack. The reaction maneuver is the target, which would be Hefty, takes half of the damage and I take the other half. Very
nice. In that situation, does it say that you step in the way of the attack?
It doesn't say how I do it.
I guess it would be up to you on how you do it, whether you're getting attempted to be pulled in or whether Hefty is.
I would take the pull. I would take the pull instead of Hefty.
I would like a save against it, please.
Okay.
Hefty, your ally steps in and saves the day as tentacles burst from the water, try to pull you in.
Wow.
So that would be a 9 plus 4, which would be 13.
13. It is a very close one. You almost slip and get pulled in, but you manage to strength your way through. For its last AP...
Oh, wait. Before we move on, so I was taking 1 damage there because of Grum's interference. Is this
Correct.
when physical damage reduction comes in? I have a physical damage reduction of 1.
Absolutely, yes.
So I take 0 damage. And then I have a second question. Mm-hmm. Am I benefiting from my own bardic performance or not?
I'm going to say yes. I think that's funner.
Okay. All right. So I'm at temp HP of 2 still. Okay.
So my tentacle attack had 0 effect is what you're telling me. And even when it does, it won't really matter that much.
Grum got to do a cool move.
Suddenly the tentacles do 5 damage as a base. No, I'm kidding. For its final AP, what it would like to do, or what it will do, is a different kind of tentacle will come out of the air, and this one is tipped with a glowing barb at the end. Those who like fishing might recognize it as a lure. It will flash brightly, and it will impose disadvantage on the next attack that it takes. And that is its turn. So I believe... Grum, you got the next highest score, so you will go next, if you please.
Okay. So I do not currently know the size of this creature, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Let me see. So size may come into effect here. I want to use you spend 1 AP and use the throw maneuver. So grab one of the tentacles and attempt to throw the creature away.
I like it.
The reason this is going to be interesting is, even though Grum is, I guess, medium at 8 feet tall, He has a powerful build. You increase by one size, but you occupy the space of a creature one size smaller. So in other words, he would be considered large.
That is relevant because as you grasp a tentacle, you very quickly realize this creature is likely large as well. You wish to pull it from the water. That was likely a contested save. Does it give the details?
Let's see. For all the throw maneuvers, says actually it would be an attempt to grapple and then that maneuver. So it would essentially be 2 AP because one would be the attack to grapple and one would be to actually do the throw. And it says the target is thrown up to a number of spaces equal to 1/2 of my might and ends the grapple condition plus up to 1 additional space for every 5 they fail the contest. And I guess it says to see throwing creatures on page 71.
I believe it is your athletics versus might choice.
Okay, so first I have to make the attack to grapple it, which you said is athletics, correct? And would this be the one that is a disadvantage from that lore?
Yes, it would.
Okay. An 8 for 14.
14. It got a 7 plus that's an 11. You successfully managed to grapple the creature. You wrap it tries to pull its tentacles away, but you just keep on pulling them out of the water, hand over hand. Okay. Would you like to attempt to throw?
I would like to make the throw maneuver. I will spend the AP to use the throw maneuver, which would be, and it says what, half my might, which is 1.5 spaces away.
Rounds up to 2.
Okay, so it gets thrown 2 spaces away. I'm going to throw it kind of back the way we came.
Okay. So the other players see Grum wrestling with this tentacled creature in the water. He gets a good handhold of it, and while it tries to pull away, he still sinks his meaty hands into it, and he rips it out of the water, and he throws it 2 spaces away from the party. As he does so, the creature is revealed. It is... Well, its body looks like a large white chitinous tube, and from one end extends quite a few blood red and hot pink tentacles from one end. And it slams into the ground and flops with a very heavy thud.
So Freya has knowledge nature as one of her skills. Do I recognize that as a natural swamp-dwelling creature, or do I know what this thing is?
Well, let me ask you a question. Is Freya the type of person who would have done some research about the location before traveling there?
Oh, hell no.
No?
She goes with the wind, baby.
Then I would say you're not sure. This thing looks pretty funky. It's the thing out of nightmares. At least in my opinion. I would run.
Can I make a knowledge roll to see if it is something I happen to have read about at one point?
Absolutely.
Would I rolled a 10 plus 5, would a 15 net me a...
Yes. With a 15, this swamp is known for its unusual and rare creatures, but this thing looks particularly out of place. You may have seen in books pictures of deep sea dwelling creatures. This resembles something a bit more closer to that, although you've never quite seen anything even depicted in books of this size before. Grum, was there anything else in your turn? Do you have any action points remaining?
I have actually, with the protection of Hefty, the taunt, and these particular actions, I believe I am out of action points.
Okay. Well then, my understanding of DC 20 is even though there's only one monster, it gets to go next.
I haven't gone yet.
Yeah, I haven't gone either.
I know. The DC 20 is you trade back and forth. Let me double check the rules if there's only one creature, though. My understanding when I read that is their turn, then our turn, trading back and forth. Not one of us goes, one of them goes. I guess I may have misunderstood.
On page 63. It looks like it is team versus team.
Enemy team, PC team. The PCs automatically fill in each PC team position based on how high their initiative checks were. The PC with the highest initiative will go first, followed by the remaining team members in descending order of their initiative checks. But if you look at the little infographic there, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's not 5 teams in a combat round.
Right.
At least I hope not. If 2 PCs have the same initiative, they can go first, or they can go simultaneously. Meaning that their actions will happen at the exact same time, which I believe you guys both did.
Right, but if there's only one of him, he doesn't go.
Yeah, and I'm also thinking you guys might die if I do that. So I'm going to ask which one of you would like to go next. This creature might just wipe your party if I give him too many turns.
Hefty, I think your agility is higher than mine if you want to go first.
My agility is +1.
Oh, then mine's 2.
But I do recommend that I go first because as a support class, I'm going to give you more dice.
Go for it.
I'm going to make a note to ask about that.
So, my turn. All right. I have a plan. I rolled a 3 on the dice, which means, not that I'm metagaming, but maybe I shouldn't try to, attack this time. Maybe I should do something that passes on a 10. And I have this thing called Bless, which passes on a 10. So if I do it, and I have my character sheet says that I have a +4 from influence and a +6 when I use my ukulele. So if I use my ukulele, then I have a +10. So that's a 13 total. So that means I pass this DC 10 spell check for Bless. So I should bless you guys, is what the game is telling me. So I'd like to bless you guys. May I bless you?
Absolutely.
Does anyone not want to receive a blessing?
Absolutely.
So I'm going to play my ukulele here in a second, but before I do that, I just want to read what happens. Bless. Divination spell. Cost 2 action points and 1 magic point, so I'm down to 7 magic points. And I don't actually use all of my action points, so I can probably also thwack it with a boomerang this turn. But before I do that, range 5 spaces, duration 1 minute concentration, so this is the only spell I'll have up. Make a DC 10 spell check. Success, you bless up to 3 creatures of your choice within range. And whenever a target makes a check or save before the spell ends, the target can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to the total. So I have one question for the GM before I do this.
Mm-hmm.
When do we recover magic points?
Magic points are recovered during a long rest, I believe.
So then I will not spend additional magic points to give you guys a d6. It's going to stay a d4. And with that said, here's my musical performance to bless you. To everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap, a time to kill, a time to heal. You guys are getting blessed right now. Heal. A time to laugh, a time to weep. Alright, add a d4 to everything you roll.
Very nice. You are blessed. Also, I realized why I am stupid. When one character goes and there's only one character on the team has gone. So, yeah, you guys were right. I was wrong. It gets 1 turn per round.
Freya is going to use the Beast Whisperer trait that I have as a halfling, and I'm going to tell the thing, "We are not prey. Go back to your home and leave us be. Humans and halflings are not your food source."
And possums.
And possums. Well, talking possums anyway. I don't know about other possums here in the swamp.
I hold up a ukulele. Yeah.
And a boomerang threateningly because I still have 2 AP.
It looks very confused if a sea worm can look confused.
Can I use influence?
Mm-hmm.
Or would that be animal? Would this be an animal
It's an
handling?
animal, so that would be animal handling.
Okay. Ooh, nice. An 18 plus 2. 20.
20. Does the skill say are you using a skill right now, or are you just trying to get it to turn around and leave?
I mean, I'm kind of doing a couple of things. I'm using my Beast Whisperer trait as a halfling to talk to it. And that's why I was wondering if it would be animal handling or influence, because I'm just trying to make it go away and leave us all alone. Because if it's influence, it's actually a 22. If it's animal handling, it's a 20, because I don't have any special skills in that.
Well, the 20, I mean, I think it should try to resist you. I think that's the way to handle this.
Sounds fair to me.
It's going to roll a charisma, and that's pretty good for you guys. Because, yeah, it has a -3, and it did not pass.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine a chitinous sea anemone would be too charismatic.
It's not. It doesn't retreat. What it does is it pulls its tendrils back into inside of its body, or inside of its chitinous shell, and it seems to be just sort of contemplating. It seems confused by your being able to speak to it.
Okay, I would like to use... How many action points would you say that took?
Let's say that's one action point.
One. Then I'm going to use 2 more of my action points to cast Dancing Flames to match the color of that beacon thing it sent out, and I'm going to cast it over the water, so it looks like there's 3 more floating as far away from me as I can cast the spell in the water, trying to attract it that direction.
Interesting. Okay. Do you have to roll anything for that spell, or is it just something you can cast?
It is just something, let me double check, but I'm pretty sure that's just something I can cast.
If it says you can generate lights of any color of your choosing, then I would say you successfully managed to do so.
Make a DC 10 spell check. On a success, you create up to 3 torch-sized flames within range, making them appear as torches, lanterns, or glowing orbs that hover over the air for their duration.
Okay, yeah. Please make that spell check and see if you can't mimic the lights.
And that is a DC 20 plus. What do I add to that?
Your spell check?
So
it's probably
I
it would be charisma or intelligence.
Okay, I rolled a 12 plus 4.
Plus 4 for 16
spell
total.
check. Mm-hmm.
The creature looks... You can see something comes out of it. It's not like a head or anything, but some sort of light sensing apparatus seems to kind of poke out from the tube. And it looks toward the lights, and it kind of looks back. And you can see the creature is very confused. Let me ask for a vision-based perception roll, since you're interacting with it so closely.
I rolled a 4, so probably not.
You get no additional information. The creature looks like it's unsure what to do. I would say one more strong push in a direction one way or the other might kind of change its mind.
Hold on, let me see how many action points this spell costs.
If any of the other players have reactions, that would be relevant.
I still have 2 action points left.
I'm out, so it's on you.
I'm going to cast Gust and literally give it a push towards the water.
Do we, just like a meta question, do we want this thing that we probably were sent to the swamp to investigate to be gone from us and under the water? Like, yeah, we saw your monster. We caught and released it. Sorry it ate your husband.
Okay, that's a good point. What I'm going to do instead is I'm actually going to cast Tethering. Well, that kind of defeats the whole thing I did before that, but I don't know. Freya's a pacifist. Does that extend to underwater sea life? I've never really thought about that before.
Is Freya a vegetarian?
Asking the hard questions here.
I suppose she's not. She's eaten meat in other episodes, so that would be hypocritical of her. Does this thing seem to be sentient?
Yes.
Then I have a problem
reacting to your behavior. You talked to it and it responded.
In the way an animal does, or in the way a thinking being does?
You rolled pretty good on your animal handling. I would say the way an animal does.
Okay. Then I'm going to cast Tethering Vines on it and try to hold it in place for up to a minute so it can't get back to the water and will hopefully suffocate.
That is a shift, but all right.
Well, Hefty made a very good point that we're here to kill this thing, and if it's not a sentient creature, my pacifism doesn't extend to it.
It could be this thing, but...
I didn't say we're here to kill this thing. I just said, like, maybe catching and releasing a monster when the villagers aren't able to do anything other than be eaten by it.
What I mean is you make a very good point.
Okay.
All right, so how does that skill of yours work?
Tethering vines. I choose a space within range. Vines and weeds sprout up from the ground in 3 space radius from the chosen space, making the area difficult terrain. Make a spell check contested by a physical save from the creature other than you within the range. Success, the creature is tethered.
It got a 13 on a physical save.
I got a 22. I rolled an 18 plus 4.
And you're adding a d4 to all of your things, right?
Oh, a 26.
So why don't you give me a nice description as you wrap this poor little worm up in vines?
So since we're in a swamp, just not thorny vines because I don't want to hit it, but like tree roots and things reach up and start wrapping around it and holding it in place, a la when the hobbits get found in the 2 towers and Treebeard saves them from the roots wrapping around them, except the roots are just starting to wrap around them and pull it into itself a little bit.
Very nice. The creature is held fast by your vines. It thrashes wildly. Of note, some of the tentacles will even come out from inside its sheath and try to rip away at the vines. But it can't since it has no AP left. Anything else in your turn?
Nope, I've used up all my AP and 1 MP.
Use the heck out of this poor worm. I believe, Hefty, you have 2 action points remaining. What would you like to do?
I'm going to take a little chat with my friends. Hello, friends. I specifically want to talk to Boggin. Hey, Boggin.
He's pretty far away at this point, but he'll call back and be like, what?
So, like, we caught it. Do you know what this is?
You caught what? I'm not coming over there.
A large
Is it dead?
white chitinous tube with blood red and pink tentacles.
Sounds like a sea worm. They're only like 2 inches long.
Oh, so this is like a known creature, but it's usually much smaller?
Maybe. I mean, I've seen a sea worm before. They bring him up from the deep every now and then after a storm or so, but nothing like what you're talking about. He's way too far away to even see. He's like calling from across the moors. Is it dead?
I mean, it could be. Do you want it to be?
Yes, I would very much like it to be dead.
Make a cool pet.
He stops answering you. He's here grumbling.
Okay. I mean, I'm just going to mentally walk through my thought process here. It is restrained. And it is an anomaly. And it is trying to eat us. So all of these things, like on the one hand, I love investigating things, love mysteries. On the other hand, it is trying to eat people. It might be trying to eat the townspeople. Yeah.
Hey, do you guys think that we should kill it, or should we keep it restrained and let the villagers decide what to do with it?
Well, I assume it needs to be in the water to breathe.
I don't know. I look at it. Is it breathing?
I would say that's kind of unclear.
Oh, that seems a bit unclear. I'm gonna check for bubbles. Bubbles, right? When crabs come out of the water, they make bubbles because their gills... Okay, are there bubbles, GM?
Can I get a nature roll, please?
Oh, sure. All right.
Also, my spell only lasts 1 minute.
Ooh, you're on the clock.
Oh, okay, so it's not really restrained.
I mean, for
Maybe-
1 minute it is.
Okay, well, so maybe I don't need to roll for nature. I'm just going to attack it twice. It seems one attack is 1 action point.
Mm-hmm.
I say...
To repeat the attack, it'll be at disadvantage. However, since it's restrained, you have advantage.
Okay.
And you can do a second attack. It'll be at, the 2 will cancel each other out. So you'll have an attack at advantage and then a regular attack. You can even use your remaining AP point to give yourself double advantage on this attack if you want.
I don't want a double advantage. I want to hit it twice because I do 2 damage per hit. So I don't want to like make sure I hit it. I want to hit it twice. So I'll deal 4 damage to it if I hit it twice. Which
Potentially, you could do more than that if you do more, if you roll better.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, so I'm using a boomerang. I didn't really know what to give Hefty. Like, she's a possum. She doesn't actually have a boomerang, but I'm going to use the mechanics of a boomerang while playing a ukulele. So I'll do like a little strum on a ukulele. Maybe like an F. There you go. That's a boomerang. It does bludgeoning damage, does 2 damage, and it returns on a miss, but it doesn't return on not a miss. So I also have other weapons.
To be fair, that is how a boomerang would work, actually.
Yes, but it means I'm also carrying a light mining pick, which is piercing damage, so I can throw a pick at this thing. So here's my, maybe a C chord. And there's my boomerang and my light mining pick mechanically. Bludgeoning and piercing both are 2 damage, so I'm going to roll for that. So I roll a d20. Now you're saying the first one's at advantage?
Mm-hmm. Because it's
so I should do the light mining pick first, because the boomerang will come back if it misses. So the first one was an 18 on the dice and a 5 on the dice, and I add something to it.
Well, if you're making a attack roll with it, it would probably be your might, plus your prime modifier, which is probably 2.
Okay, martial check, highest between athletics or acrobatics. So I'm going to use acrobatics, which is a +1.
For your attack roll? All right.
I don't actually attack very much. Yeah. Okay, so that's a 19.
19 is a hit. 19 is a heavy hit. You do an additional 1 damage.
Sweet. 3 damage from that pick. It's piercing.
3 piercing damage. All right.
And then my second attack is with the boomerang, because maybe it'll come back. So you said this is disadvantage?
It'll be regular because it's still restrained.
Okay, that's an 8 overall.
That is a miss.
Okay, do I have combat mastery? Yeah, I do. So that's a 9 overall. Okay. Combat mastery plus agility is my attack. Okay. All right, so I dealt 3 damage to it with a pick, and I have the boomerang still in my hand. Thanks,
Very nice.
boomerang.
And the boomerang returns.
Yeah.
All right. That should be all the players. That brings us back to the top of the round. The worm gets to go. And you have all been very unnice to it. And one of you has been very confusing. It's going to use 1 action to try to break free of the vines that restrain it. I assume that's going to be is it a might save to get out of there?
I've moved away. Yes, I think so.
That is a 15 on the die plus 4 for a 19 total.
Oh, do I benefit from my own bless?
Yes.
Oh, that was an extra d4 on each of those then.
Give me a d4 on the 9. Well, actually, it would matter for both, actually, for damage totals.
That was a 4. So 13.
13 actually is a hit. It's physical defense is 12.
Sweet, I dealt 5 damage to
So
it.
you do
total.
another 2 damage. Nice.
Okay.
Because
All right,
I am
sorry about
blessed.
that. Yeah.
Because I'm
keep
blessed, I
forgetting
rolled a
about
25.
Bless is so good.
It really is.
Okay, so it successfully manages to tear away the vines that cover it. It will...
Wait, what did you get? I thought you got a 21. I must have misheard you.
You got a 19.
I rolled a
Sorry,
25.
I thought you said that was a success. Oh, wait, you roll to... It doesn't have a breakout mechanic? You're still rolling in... It probably has a break-free mechanic at the bottom there.
Tethering vines. When the creature is tethered, can't leave the area. The creature can spend 1 AP point to make a physical check of your choice. A save against my DC. Success, the target is no
Against your
longer
DC.
tethered. So my DC, my DC. What would my DC be?
That one I don't actually know.
Oh, save DC 14.
14.
Yes.
It crushed it. I have no idea how to calculate a mage's save DC. I'll have to look that up. Anyway.
I mean, on here it
okay.
just says save DC equals 10 plus CM plus prime.
Okay. All right. So first AP tears itself away. Second AP, it's going to do a tentacle attack on...
This is a great time
it's
to
an
remind
attack.
everyone that at the start of the round you gained another temporary HP. So I'm at 3 temp HP.
Nice. Oh, and at the end of your turn, all of your AP return or recharge. So, tentacle attack at Freya because you really confused it. That is a 15 to hit you.
That'll do.
What's your physical defense?
12.
12. Okay, so it just beats it by 3. That is 1 damage to you.
So now I'm at 2 temporary hit points.
Has 2 AP left. It's going to attack you again at disadvantage. That's a 15 and an 11. So it's going to miss. It's going to use its last AP to impose, or it's going to escape. I forget what that is called exactly in DC 20. Where is it? Full dodge. When you take the dodge action, you can spend 1 AP to impose disadvantage on all grapples made against you. Full disengage. It can't do a full disengage. It can only do 1 disengage. So it sends 1 AP to impose disadvantage on opportunity attacks made against it until the start of its next turn. That's plenty. It's going to use its final AP to disengage from you all. And it is going to try to crawl its way back into the water. So if I'm reading this correctly, I'm going to say you're all close enough because I think you're all more or less still on top of each other. You can all take attacks of opportunity, but they will be at disadvantage as it tries to slink away.
But we can spend an action point to make it a flat roll.
I think so, yes.
Okay.
I'm going to allow that.
No point in not doing it.
Okay.
Let's go in order of how I have your name. So Grums first.
All right. And as a question, because this is interesting, because there are maneuvers and things of that nature built into the rules, can you add a maneuver to an opportunity roll?
Considering you're using up a resource of AP during it, I don't have a problem with it. I'm going to say yes.
Okay. So I am going to spend 2 action points. 1 to get rid of the
didn't read anything that said no. Sorry.
1 to get rid of the disadvantage. And since my open hand is considered a battle axe, or that's how I've placed it, I'm going to use the axe maneuver, which, if successful, adds bleeding to the creature, and it's +1 damage.
Ooh, very nice. Roll to hit.
That is a 17 plus 4, which would be a 21.
21. That is a heavy hit, not a brutal hit. So you do, as a base damage, 1, you said?
And did you add Bless as D4?
Oh, no, I did not.
Ooh.
I forgot to add the Bless as D4.
Very nice.
That would be 2, so that would be a 23.
That does bump it up to a brutal hit. So what's your base damage?
Base damage, I believe, for the axe is a 2.
Okay, that's 2 plus 2 more for the heavy and the brutal, and then I think you inflict a bleed effect?
Plus 1 damage in addition, and the bleed effect, which means, just like with Hefty's thing that we get a temp HP, he loses an HP every round because he is bleeding.
Noted. Okay. 5, 10, okay. Just checking his HP right now. That is your attack.
Yes.
Freya.
Freya's going to try to whack him with her walking stick or quarterstaff if we're going by
Whack away.
the game
Remember
mechanics.
that Bless gives you a D4.
Yes. So let's see. 17 to hit?
17 is actually a heavy hit.
Oh. Then it's versatile, so it has a 2 and a 3, and I assume I'd be using it two-handed since I don't have a
Okay, so you
shield.
do 3 damage. Plus 1 for a total of 4.
Yep.
I have an important question to ask you. Mm-hmm. How do you want to do it?
I mean, I just ever caught a fish and pulled it onto your boat and had to pop it on the head. That's what happens. I get my quarterstaff, and where its light sensing organ came out, I give it a real hard whack with my quarterstaff.
Apparently you whacked something vital, as all of the tentacles flail briefly and then go limp. The creature stops moving and you are officially out of combat.
Do y'all think this thing is edible? Because I'm not a big fan of killing things without eating it.
Oh, that's a great thing to bring with us on the boat, and we can show up and have a feast. Hey, we solved your problem, and it's food. Let's have a party.
I like
it. Here. Are you all dead?
Not
You're
yet.
just fine. Can Grum retrieve his javelin?
Yes, it is buried deep within the one of the tentacles, but yeah, you can pull it out.
I retrieve my ice pick. Woo.
I rinse off my quarterstaff.
Nice. The creature is laying there and very, very foul smelling. Boggin will return after hearing that you all successfully defeated it. And he'll look over the creature and go, "That's not getting on my boat."
Oh no, it's water, so we could just tie it with a rope to your boat and it will... I mean, before they invented the wheel, they just used canals and it's very
And you
easy
don't
to
think that'll
transport.
attract something else
Would be
hungry?
dragon bait.
Aye, that. He looks at you with crossed arms. He's like,
Okay, you want to... how big is the body, the white chitinous tube part?
it's roughly 10 feet long. The tentacles come out if you pull them out, they extend an additional 15.
Can we cut the tentacles off and take the tube with us?
Or
He
how
gives
much
you a
would it
side eye.
cost?
Just like, how much would it cost? Now you're talking cost now.
How would 10 gold sound? Would 10 gold get this thing on your boat so we can get it to the town?
Oh yeah, I think I could look the other way for 10 gold then. Sure, that
She
would be
gives
plenty.
him 10 gold.
The man's a merchant at heart. You spoke his love language.
I have done a couple quests where I've gotten hundreds or thousands of gold as rewards.
He
That's
will
true.
happily
We have
and
regular we
greedily-
have regular income from one of our earlier adventures. So
He quickly makes it disappear under his robes, and he won't give you any more guff about putting it on his boat. Did you want to cut it? Do you want to cut it apart or anything, or you just want to load it wholesale onto the boat?
I mean, if we're showing them at the village, I feel like we should just bring the whole thing. We can hang it out and have pictures drawn of it.
proof of success.
All right. All right. Well, with that, he won't help you load it up, but he will allow it to happen. And he will start pulling his way down the river toward the Briar Fen. It'll take you you have about 3 hours left in your journey. Was there anything you all wanted to discuss or do before you arrive in town?
I think part of what Grum is doing, one of his trades, is cartography. So I think he's going to be charting a path or a map, something to, perhaps give to, I guess, what has become his foster mother, Brynri, so that she has a map of the swamp and the path taken.
Very nice.
Does 3 hours count as a long rest to recover mana points or magic points? Or is a long rest 8 hours?
Long rest would be 8 hours. You could take a short rest, though.
But that means you have 10 temporary hit points because they go away at a long rest.
Okay.
Bards are broken.
It seems like it, yes.
Because I started with 7 HP, so now I have 17 until I sleep.
Ridiculous.
Guess what I'm doing every morning?
And does that take a magic point, or is that just an action point?
It did. It cost me 1 magic point to get you all, including myself,
Yeah.
10 temp HP. Sounds fair.
That's amazing.
That's kind of scary for Grum, because I think just the way he's built, he's got, at this level, 15 HP. So he's pretty sturdy.
Now you have 25.
All right. So it sounds like you guys are more or less ready to head to the village. So, all right. After an additional 3 hours, the corpse does not smell any better on the boat, but you will finally arrive in the town of Briarfen. The sounds hit you before the town actually comes into sight, but you'll very quickly hear just the sounds of general talking and unintelligible speech drifts across the swamp that has otherwise been very, very silent, except for you lot there. Boggin will pull his boat up. He's approaching from the south, and he pulls his boat up right up to what appears to be a fairly well-maintained dock, actually, surprisingly well. There is a small procession of individuals waiting. Looks like they heard you coming or otherwise knew that you were all arriving. The town itself appears to be the buildings are made of stilts, and they're kind of built right into the mangrove trees that are growing more or less everywhere. You can see planks and various walkways that connect a variety of the buildings. The residents of the town itself appear to be some tribe of elves. And as he pulls up, Boggin waves high, and they all wave high back at him. There is an older male elf there. He greets Boggin, and there is two female elves there, an older woman and a younger girl there. And she's like in her 20s when I say younger. But he will pull up and moor the raft. The older elf will greet the merchant first. He reaches out his hand and welcome back. With the Briarfen is happy to see a friend again. How was your trip? The old elf kind of long and troublesome, and I had these lot with me, and look what they made me drag along. On cue, everyone will turn their attention to the party and look on expectantly. Does anyone speak for your party? This is the older elf speaking.
Grum, for his part, he is not the speaker. He is the one. He's actually starting to unload that shell from the raft onto, one of the platforms or the dock.
I think bards are usually the face of the party.
Oh, yeah. So there's this chitinous white 10-foot-long tube with like 15-foot-long blood red and pink tentacles, and it had like an illusion woman and a lantern, and it tried to get us to be its food, so we killed it.
So, when you're saying these things, I look at quite a bit of attention, actually. Looking down the dock, you can see that there are a couple stalls and simple tents set up. Looks like this is kind of where they do a little bit of their trade amongst the town. It's all very simple stuff. You have people kneeling on blankets and whatnot. But at your proclamation, that will get their attention. And as you kind of flop it off of the boat onto the deck, that will get a lot of gasps. And you'll hear from the crowd a couple of people start to whisper something. Let's do a perception hearing based, please.
Woo, advantage. Rolling 1 dice. The first one was a 19, and the second one was a 9. So that's probably going to keep the 19.
19.
And it says I have an awareness of 2. Oh, wait, advantage smell. Dang. Okay, well, the first one was the 19. Okay, so
yeah, 19.
That is a 21
That's plenty
overall.
enough to hear. No, that's high enough. You're going to hear the term lore lasher a couple times from people. You suspect they know what this creature is, but no one's coming forward to say anything about it.
Or was.
Yes.
If only we had some information about what this creature was, we could tell if it was the cause of the disappearing villagers. But I don't know anything. I'm just a simple city possum myself.
The older elf will clear his throat, getting over his shock. Forgive me. I am the mayor of this village. I didn't expect you to show up with such a creature. We are familiar with it, at least from stories. It's a lore lasher, we call it. They're only supposed to be out in the deep, deep oceans. What on earth is it doing here?
Trying to kill us.
Well, yes, it might.
Seemed hungry.
They are quite voracious predators. You're lucky to be alive.
Make a little possum arm with a little possum muscle. It's like, grr.
So this is a fishing village, right?
Yes.
Are they trolling the deep ocean waters?
Are you asking that in character? Ask that in character.
Yeah. Do you all troll the deep ocean waters frequently? Because you know about this, and your boatman over there knew what a sea worm was. That is also a deep sea creature.
Yes, the villagers will go out to sea. Sure. We often well, we don't troll. No, I'm thinking on your accent here. But we do hunt in. We do hunt the deeps. Yes. He just looks at you.
Just curious. You don't hear about many people going down that deep into the water where you're seeing deep sea creatures like these?
He just shrugs at you, and all of the villagers around you look like this is just common knowledge, and they're just like, and he just goes, I suppose it depends on where you're from.
Being from this world, is fishing that deep in the ocean uncommon?
It definitely is uncommon, yes.
Okay.
Has the catch been pretty steadily good recently? Or has the catch been running out in the deep?
No, actually, the village has been going through a bit of trouble with our catches. It seems like something is scaring away the fish.
Ah, so no fish in deep sea catch recently. Why deep sea creature come here for food? So confusing. I'm just a simple possum myself. I wouldn't be able to put those two dots together with a straight line.
Not many would.
I'm sensing a vicious mockery from the bard.
They don't seem fazed by it.
Well, we're here now. Can we, wash our hands? We got, tentacle monster on us, and you guys got a bed. Come on. We showed up. We got the monster. Let's, feed us.
Oh, yeah, yes, of course. And forgive me. No one's really shown up to the village before carrying a deep sea creature like this before.
Is it edible?
Yes, actually. And harvestable as well. That lore there can be used to make a very potent whip.
Well, excellent. Whip it up then.
Party! We brought the food. You cook it.
If you would like, I couldn't have someone butcher this properly right away.
Oh, absolutely. That's why we brought it here.
Dinner's on us.
Where would you like it?
He would ask you to carry it, if you're willing, up into the north eastern part of town. Would you be willing to do so?
Certainly. And he'll put his shield away and heft the creature up onto one shoulder, or what remains of the creature up to one shoulder, and wait to be led.
Sure. So the mayor and the two ladies that were by his side will follow along. You'll get a lot of stares as you walk down the docks. No one's doing any commerce. They're all staring at you. As you walk down the docks, you'll quickly go into a large raised area that's in a very distinct circle, and there's a central area that's open to the water, and then there's a branch off that leads to the east. And as you follow it, you can see that this pattern kind of repeats itself. There's walkways that kind of go off in random direction, but they tend to lead towards a circular area. And as you walk, you can see that there's lots of homes around these that are built right on top of the trees or right along the sides of the trees. But eventually you'll come to an area where it looks like the huts are more serviceable. There's 3 distinct huts there, and for the smell alone would probably indicate that this is where they tend to butcher their catches. As you approach, you can't really miss it. And the mayor would go, right there, they are expert butchers in anything that comes out of the sea. If anyone knows how to cut that fish open and care for it, it would be them.
I will set it down where
some
indicated.
Some elves will quickly come out of there, and you can see their shock at seeing this. But the mayor will go quickly before it goes bad, and they'll get right away. They'll drag it into the hut, and you can quickly hear knives being sharpened, and they'll start cutting it up and butchering it for you. As you walk through the town itself is, I'm not quite sure what you're all expecting, but the town itself is actually very well upkept, if simply made. You can see there's some very good craftsmanship even in the boards that you're walking along. They're all very well kept and maintained. The people here wear simple, not really simple robes. They actually wear fairly ornate robes. They're kind of a kimono style, and they fold over. They look like they could come off very quickly if they want to. Makes sense for a fishing village. Most of the homes are adorned with shells. As you walk, you can see that each individual home has a rain purification barrel. It looks like each house and a simple garden. It looks like each house is more or less required to be self-maintained, or at least encouraged to be. And the people are all in excellent shape. You might have thought of this as perhaps a poorer fishing village, but as you walk along, you're seeing like spears along the sides of walls over fishing poles. These are sports fishermen. These are hunters. But once you drop that off, the mayor would say, I suppose we should show you to your abodes. We're just truly happy that the guild was able to help us in our time of need. Please, this way. And he will lead you through the town. He basically leads you back the exact opposite way. He leads you back across where you walked, and then past the central area, past the docks again. And then he takes you to an area of trees where there is a simple stilt house built out of the side of a large mangrove tree. And he'll say, this is your abode while you are here. Inside, you should find all that you need. If you need anything else, please don't hesitate to ask. I will have, and he indicates the younger girl here, I will have Niev as your attendant. That's Niev, Neave, for anyone who's keeping track. And she will be your assistant for anything you might need. When you are ready, please meet us at my residence, actually. Niev will show you the way, and we can discuss in detail why you are here. Thank you for joining us for part 1. Joining us for this adventure were Grum.
Very interesting. Glad I did not fall in the water and sink.
Freya.
Anyone up for calamari?
And Hefty. Please join us for part 2 after a short break.
Today's mid-episode shout-out is, quote, Sophia, your talents and imagination have brightened my world in countless ways. The artist is one who is up all night. The artist is one who looks lost. The artist is one who fears no tyrant because it just becomes the next piece. End quote. You can arrange for us to read your shout-out at firebreathingkittenspodcast.com. Did you know we have a paperback, ebook, hardcover, and audiobook adaptions on Amazon and Audible? Is there an episode of Fire Breathing Kittens that would make someone you know smile? Telling them about it would help us. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, and welcome back for part 2 of our adventure into the Briar Friends. Joining us for part 2 again is Hefty. Grum.
I'm glad I cannot smell or eat because I haven't a feeling that dinner is going to be interesting.
And lastly, Freya.
I assume they have cocktail sauce somewhere in this village.
One would hope. And as this is part 2, Grum, would you like to give us a recap of part 1, please?
Certainly. We were traveling for quite some time on a rickety raft in a swamp, heading towards a job for the fire-breathing kittens, towards a village called Briarfriend. As a part of that travel, we saw a woman clinging to a log, found out it was a decoy and a distraction for some kind of creature. The creature came out of the water. We had a fight with the creature, tried to tame it, but ended up having to kill it. Convinced after paying our guide, we were able to bring the rest of the beast onto his raft and eventually make it to the village. They were very shocked. They called it a lure lasher. We're very surprised that we had it. They said it's a very deep sea water creature. We brought it to them to butcher. The mayor brought us to our accommodations and has asked us to join him at his hut, being led by his assistant, after we get ourselves settled. That's about where we are.
Very nice. Thank you for the recap. That was much better than the shambling, rambling attempt I did last time I was a player. But with that, I would like to pick up pretty much right where we left off. You are all in the hut that was provided. It's simple planks of wood. You don't see a lot of metal used here. Everything's kind of tied together with organic material. The interior is kind of a very open room space, and it has ladders that lead up to subsequent levels. And there is enough space where each of you could sleep comfortably if you so chose, privately. But what would the party like to do once you get your accommodations?
Freya would like to ask around town about the disappearances just to make sure that what we have caught lines up with it. And if there's more of them, or just basically trying to figure out what I can about the disappearances around town.
Okay. And you're just kind of wandering through the town, talking to whoever looks interesting?
Well, I mean, I would assume I would talk to the girl that was set to help us
Sure.
first,
Yes.
and then ask the Fishers or somebody who's familiar with the people who have been lost.
Niev would be a good choice. She is, in fact, more or less waiting outside your abode. She would respond with, well, the disappearances are really scaring everyone. It's a real shame. At first, it was those who went out fishing, but recently it's been people from the village directly. Most recently, it was two girls. Two sisters, actually. They both went missing, I would say about a 10-day ago or so. But no one's ever really figured out what it is that's causing it. There's rumors abound. That lurker is certainly a possibility, but I don't see it being able to quietly lure people away from a village. I mean, maybe. She kind of shrugs at you.
So they were lured away. They weren't grabbed off the docks or something.
Well, poor Tessa the Younger, she vanished. We suspect she was lured away. We're not sure. But the older sister, Morelli, she went looking and never came back.
Are the disappearances a specific time of day?
They always occur at night, and they recur once every 2 weeks.
When's the next one due?
It could honestly be any day now.
Thematically, that would make sense.
I do my best.
Metagaming. I don't think we got what we were supposed to get because we've still got half the episode left.
I think we got dinner.
Yeah.
Can't hurt.
She would ask if the party needs anything.
Oh, yeah. I want to know about the town's population size.
She kind of looks up and thinks, I don't know, we're probably somewhere between 200 and 300 people. She kind of shrugs at you. Actually, you know what? She would know. So there are approximately 300 people in the town.
Do you mind writing up a list of suspects? I mean, census people? That would really help.
She looks at you aghast. You think it's someone from our little village? No, surely not. That's a quite an accusation to be throwing around. I would be careful who you said such a thing to.
No. You know, if people are going missing, it would make sense to count and name them.
Oh, how many people we've missed so far?
Yeah. It's probably going to take you like all day. Write a list. I want everybody and then their missing or here statuses and relationships to the missing people. That would be so helpful. Thanks.
She kind of looks at you aghast, but she's like, okay, I guess I'll get that to you tonight, probably.
Sounds great. You're awesome.
Okay.
Is there a specific place from which these people are missing? Is there a location or common location or somewhere nearby? Are they closer to some aspect of the town or closer to the edge of the town?
She stops and thinks, and then she shakes her head. No, at first it was just people going out and hunting. They didn't return, and we didn't really suspect much. It is a dangerous swamp, but our people are well-trained and strong hunters. It didn't take long before we started to suspect something was amiss, and then people shortly afterwards started disappearing from town. The people from town have only been disappearing the last 3, will that be fortnights? So roughly 3 people have disappeared from town directly at this point.
They were always alone.
She stops and thinks, and she nods. I think so, yes. No one's ever seen what's causing this.
Were there any signs of break-in to Tessa's bedroom? Because it sounds like if it was at nighttime and she's a young girl, she would be asleep in her bed.
She should have been. Everyone was shocked and appalled. We searched the swamps for days, but no, there was never a sign of any break-in.
Okay.
You said these people are elves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't elves have a strong connection with the Fae? Missing children wandering off at night by themselves. Well, I guess we have the fishermen on the water. Never mind. That doesn't sound very Faean.
I would say a passerby happens to hear your conversation, and you hear in a muffled tone, kind of under their breath, they're like, it's probably their fault. They probably were wandering around without any kind of light. And you see Niev look at them and kind of like scoff at them. That's very rude. Ignore them.
So the 3 people who disappeared are Tessa, and then 2 weeks before that was...
Tessa and her sister both disappeared about 11 days ago now. But before that, it was... I have to look it up. Varelli. No, sorry, ignore that. Not Varelli. That's different. That's somebody else. Sylvie. Sorry. Sylvie Pikeglint.
Is it happening exactly 2 weeks apart? Or I guess you said any day now, so it's within a range of days, right?
Yes. It seems to happen on the full moon and the new moon.
Okay.
Sylvie and who else? From the town?
From the town itself? Sylvie and poor Eben Lomflick. He tended the lanterns. At night, he made sure that every house had one and that no one was out about without being safe. So there's no way he would have wandered out without a lantern.
What is this always keep a lantern on you thing? Is that a superstition? Are there will-o'-the-wisps around here?
She laughs nervously and kind of shrugs, and she says, it's a little bit of A and a little bit of B, honestly. It is an old town tradition. It's one of the oldest laws we have here, honestly. I think it goes back past living memory. But it's also quite practical. There's some really nasty things in the swamp, and none of them like light. If they're hunting at night, they're probably terrified of light. It's just safety precautions. And some of the older folk, the more traditional, they believe that the swamp has laws of its own.
Well, this thing we just killed was putting out a light, and it didn't seem to be too bothered by it.
She nods. I've heard stories of them, yes. They seem to have some sort of lore ability, I think. She smiles very, nervously.
So probably one of the easiest thing we can do is look toward the new moon or the full moon and be out in the evening.
Do you want to be bait, Grum?
I don't necessarily mind being bait. I've worked that angle before.
Would you say you're a master at it?
Ah.
Well, what would make us more attractive bait? Would we not have a light and be outside at the new moon and full moon?
I mean, that
makes
would
sense.
Certainly attract something. That was in character.
One thing I want to try before we do that, if they can show me where the person disappeared, I want to try to talk to the plants.
Ooh.
Good call.
Yes.
Nessa would nod her head happily, and she would lead you more or less back where you originally dropped off the carcass. But she would have you make the first right before that area. This will lead to another of those circular platform kind of designs. And it's ringed on the outside by mangrove trees, and there are houses built right into it. The third house on the right, Niev would bring you up to that house and tell you that is the home of
I'm just
Dorn family.
I'm going to ask the mangrove tree.
Sure.
Freya came to talk to the plants, not the Dorn family.
Nope. I'm a druid. I deal with plants real well. I'm going to ask.
What do you ask the tree?
Well, first I'm going to ask, do you know the young girl that was living inside you that you were given shelter to as your your place in the order of life.
The tree would give you a warm affirmation. It remembers her fondly.
Now, she has gone missing. Do you know anything you can tell me? Any creatures about that night? Did she wander off? Where'd she go? Anything you could tell me about it would be a true blessing.
Well, this is a tree, so it doesn't speak in words, but it would respond in pictures, and it would kind of give you a moving picture of a little girl. She wanders out of her home. She opens up the door by herself. She wanders to the river, the water's edge, and then it looks like there's a shining light that comes for her and takes her under the water.
I convey that to everyone.
Whoa.
So it's something in the water. I mean, that's not a big shock. We're in a swamp. Most things are in the water, but now we have confirmation. And it's probably not fairies.
Neve looks shocked. Neve looks shocked and aghast.
Doesn't anyone talk to your trees? Y'all should get a druid out here.
She's like, I know? What? You can talk to trees. And it talked back.
Well, pictures mostly.
She looks at the other party. She's like, is this something druids can normally do?
Freya's awesome.
Oh, shucks.
Absolutely.
All right. That's really concerning. That means something's... She looks like really concerned and upset by it, but she kind of sputters off in talking. Looks like she's thinking pretty hard about it.
Does anyone else have anything they want to ask the tree while we're here? I can translate.
Can the tree talk freely to you?
Yes, I can just communicate with them.
Did you have another question before I say anything?
Crumb?
So they saw a light that came and got the girl at the water's edge. Maybe there are plants in the water, yes?
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely.
Maybe, do you think, Frey, you could speak to the plants at the edge of the water where she was taken and get a better idea of what we might be dealing with?
I could certainly try.
Graham, you're so smart. Yay.
I do
If
try.
you look over the edge, there's plenty of plant life down there. There's moss and kelp and whatever else you can imagine growing in the swamp.
Did the tree want to tell me? Did the tree want to tell me anything?
Since you're going to talk to other plants, why don't we just have the conversation with the tree? At least unless you want to go further with it. The tree would give you one additional bit of information. It would show you an image of the girl again, and you would kind of see her playing. She's pretty young. And then you would see the image of the little girl. She goes to the water and she just kind of stands there. There's no sound, but it would show this image again and again and again. And occasionally you would see a light in the water.
So it's something that's been with her for a long time.
Yes. Something's visited her a couple times at least.
Okay. Well, let's go talk to... What do we want to ask the kelp?
What did the tree say?
Oh, I communicate that it shows. I just assume that anything the tree is telling me, I'm immediately telling you guys that it's the little girl has seen the light multiple times.
Wow, that makes me wonder if anybody's currently seeing a light multiple times and is about to be taken.
That
So
would
smart,
be
Hefty.
a good place to look, yes.
Neve would kind of chime back in and go, not that I know of. I will certainly ask.
Well, good thing we're holding a big fish fry tonight where I assume all your village is going to come out, and we can ask everybody.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't know that they have that planned. Everyone's pretty scared. And as you walk through, this would have been kind of evident of people. People are giving you side glances. Looks like they're not super okay with outsiders here. They don't get a lot of visitors here.
We brought a 25-foot-long dinner. So
And they're all
you want some
terrified.
calamari?
But they've been having bad catches recently. You're telling me they're not going to come out? A village that's been having financial troubles not going to come out to eat some free food?
I would actually say no, they don't.
Okay, that's fine. We'll still save you. So anyway, the water plants. What do they say?
What are you asking them?
Freya, can you ask the water plants, what they saw?
I asked them what they saw.
Okay. From beneath the water, they would give you images of a kind of humanoid figure.
Is it carrying a lantern or anything?
It does have a light, but it's a plant, so it's not really. It's kind of seeing, and it's underwater. It's kind of seeing in shadows and light, so it can see the outline. I'll give you. It's got 2 arms and 2 legs, and it's carrying a light of some sort. But beyond that, you're not going to get any details from it.
Now, is that the view from the water to the shore, or deeper in the water?
That would be deeper in the water. Remember, this is a swamp, so the water is pretty black.
Right.
Hey, Grum, I don't know anything about breathing underwater, but it sounds kind of like we might need that. Do you know it? Or like, Niev, you guys, anybody have any ideas for how to breathe underwater? Because it sounds like we might end up there.
I can wild shape into a fish,
Oh,
but that's
you're
just
set,
for
Freya.
me.
You're golden.
I can do me.
I don't breathe, so that's not necessarily an issue for me.
Oh, perfect. All right, so Niev, I need your help. I'm a possum. I don't breathe underwater so good.
She's like, we normally hold our breath when we need to go under. We're very good swimmers. She stops and she thinks, and she's like, you might be able to talk to, what's the name I gave you before, actually? One of the town elders, who is, give me a second. It's supposed to be right here, I lost it. She would tell you to go visit one of the town elders. There it is. Vareli Ashun. She is an alchemist, and she might be able to provide you a potion that would help you with that.
Before we go, one additional request, Freya.
Yes.
We've gotten the image of what is coming from the water. But if the idea is correct that this is visiting somebody multiple times before they are taken, can you get the view of who has been at the waterside at night for the past 10 days?
Whoa, find the victim. Grum, so smart.
I will go down and ask the mangrove trees, each one as I walk down, is anyone in your tree seeing lights in the water?
Is anyone coming to the edge of the water every night to go talk to a shadowy humanoid?
The tree stops, and it kind of gives you an impression of wind blowing through the leaves of many other trees. You can take that to mean whatever you like. It takes a moment, but you're a druid. You probably would wait. But after a time, it responds with, it shows you a teenage boy, an elf. He looks like he's pretty young, probably 16 or 17. He likes to get caught in places that he shouldn't. He's pretty spindly and wiry, and you're shown pictures of him in trouble a lot. Like, there's always an elder grabbing his ear and leading him off somewhere.
I ask the girl who's with us if anyone matches that description. A town of 300, I imagine it stands out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, she snaps her fingers and she's like, Finnet Greyshell. That's him. No doubt about it.
Take us to him. The boy's in grave danger.
She will lead you up north. You go past the area where the fish is being butchered, as well as the salt shack, and it's where they also get their wax, by the way. And it goes north to a domicile of trees in the same circular pattern as before. She will go to the second house on the left this time, and she knocks very, very loud on the door. Takes a little while, but a older elf woman will come out. And as soon as she sees Niev and the adventurer, she shouts out, Finn, what have you done now? And you quickly hear splash. I'd like to ask a perception roll to hear what direction it's coming from.
All right. Let's see. Oh, I won't find anything that is a 2 for a 7 total.
You heard something at the water.
9 for 11 total.
11,
What do I add to it?
Or awareness. I think that's I'm saying perception. Perception should be, is it an intelligence one?
Awareness is sort of under your prime on the character sheet.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
I got a 15.
A 15. An 11 tells you that the splash happened outside the house. The 15, you can tell that it happened just to the right of the house.
Freya points to the right of the house. He jumped in the water over there. Quick, let's get him out as quick as we can.
Woo, pursuit.
The mother is hollering. She seems, I guess she seems appropriately terrified, actually. She's like, get out of the water now. Finnet, get out of the water.
Can I lie? Ooh,
Sure.
I could just command. I was going to be like, you've won a prize, but I have a spell. It's called command. Can I use command?
Sure you can.
Yay. All right, I'm going to read this to you guys. It says, command, enchantment, cost 2 action points plus 1 magic point. So I'll go down to 6 magic points. Range, 10
believe you
spaces.
spend magic. Do you spend magic when it's not combat?
Oh,
I
will
MP
accept
when it's not
that.
combat.
Yeah, heck yeah. 7 magic points. All right. Duration is 1 round. I speak a command to a creature that I can see within range that can hear me. He breathes sometimes, right? So he's got to come up for air. I don't know. Can he hear me? GM, can he hear me?
I would rule yes, he can.
Okay. You don't have to be able to see the creature if you've seen them within the last minute. Whoa, really? You don't have to be able to see the creature if you've seen them within the last minute? That's amazing. That is broken. Can you imagine an enemy trying to
the bard?
An enemy tries to escape you and hides behind a column and is like out of sight, and you're like, stop.
Yeah. Ding, ding, ding.
Come out.
Holy cow, DC 20. Anyway, make a spell check contested by the target's charisma save. On a success, the creature immediately spends 2 action points to follow the command given, regardless of its usual AP cost, and it's like move, drop, attack, fall prone, etc. Okay, so let's do a spell check. What's a spell check?
I'm going to tell you right now, you just have to beat a 7.
Okay, my mystical number is 14. Does that mean anything? No, that's probably my defense. That's probably my DC.
Your attack / spell check is under combat, right under action points.
Oh,
Middle column of the sheet,
so it's
yes.
4. So it's my combat mastery, which is 1, plus my prime mastery, which is 3 for charisma. Aha. Sweet. I rolled a 17 plus 4 is 21. That sounds like it beat your...
Crush the 7 heartily, yes.
So I say, come here. And I smile.
You see a bunch of like splashing in the water as a young elf boy turns, looks up at you, and starts kind of wading his way back. Or I guess swimming.
Yeah. Does he make it to us?
He will. Yeah, he makes it to the gangplank. He pulls himself up. He kind of looks at you wide-eyed, like a puppy dog might.
Grum, Freya, do you want to explain?
I talked to all the trees. I think it's...
It's
I've
Grum's
done
turn.
my talking.
Grum, you talk to the teenager.
Oh, great.
You were with kids. That was Crum's thing.
That is
Yeah,
Grum's
Grum.
thing. Grum is good with kids. He will, approach the boy and get down to his level as best as he can. We're here to protect you, young man. There is something that wants to chase you, and we want to keep you safe.
The boy turns back to the water and he points and he says, "Friend." And as soon as that happens, a black ray is going to shoot out the water and try to strike Grum.
Oh.
Does a dirty 20 hit you?
That is physical or mystical?
That would be a mystical attack.
That does, and that actually meets the heavy
Nasty.
requirement for me.
Thank goodness you have
that is-
10 temporary hit points until you next sleep.
That's good because it's 2 plus... okay, so it's 4 necrotic damage as the bolt hits you. And I need you, because it was a heavy hit, I need you to make a charisma save, please.
Wait, if it's a spell, shouldn't it have been his mystical defense?
It was a mystical defense, wasn't it?
Oh, I thought you said physical. I misheard. That's my fault. My bad.
No worries.
Okay. So a charisma save. Oh, this is
Yes,
going to be
please.
horrible.
Fantastic.
Oh, a natural 20, but -2, which is 18.
That is still enough to pass. As the bolt hits you, you hear a strange kind of high-pitched shriek almost, or whine perhaps. For just a moment, it sounded very enticing, like it wanted you to walk towards it, but you managed to resist the pull. Let's roll initiative, everybody.
Yeah, let's do a command off.
Do I see where the bolt came from?
It came right out of the water. I guess it would have to probably put its hand out of the water to cast a spell at you. So yes, as you look in the water, you can see a head that looks, it's definitely humanoid, but it is oily black skin, jet black. And there are kind of odd glowing lights, which is why you're able to see it at all. It has little like spots of glowing lights all around its face.
Okay, got it. I'm going to try. Well, my role is going to be a grapple, so I'm going to try and essentially grab that hand that is sticking out of the swamp.
Okay, just a second. So one of them got a nat 20. Spoiler alert: there's more than one.
Whoa.
Oh, this is not good.
And keep in mind, you have a pacifist on your team, so
The pacifist who dealt the killing blow.
to an animal, if they're casting spells, I assume they're intelligent.
Okay, well, I've seen you kill things, so I don't know that you're gonna.
That's fair.
All right. So what's
my
everybody's
attack and grapple
initiative?
roll is a 19 plus 4, which is a 23.
Ooh, a 23. All right. Freya, what'd you get for your initiative, and what did you roll for your initiative?
I got a 5 total. No, I'm sorry. I got a 5 total because I rolled a 2.
Fantastic. And Hefty, what did you get?
A 5 on the dice. And then I forget what I had. Shame.
It kind of I can see why they changed this in later editions. It in this version, it depends on what you want to do.
Oh, gosh. Well, since all of my friends have 10 temporary hit points, wouldn't hurt to start that going again, but for a different effect. So I'm gonna do my bardic performance. I think I'm gonna give you all a +1 damage, or maybe +1 speed, or it's gonna be a bardic performance.
Can you give me a performance roll then, just to get your initiative?
Yeah. So it was a 5 on the dice, and then I would add 10 to that, so that's 15.
15. You'll be going second. All right. So, one of them will go first, and then it will be Grum's turn, and then them, and then Freya. So we'll figure that out from there. All right. So, Grum, you're a nice target. It's going to target you. A spear is going to come arcing out of the water and come slamming down towards you. There is a line attached to the sphere, but it got a crit fail. That's a nat 1. So the spear lands thunk right next to your foot. You can see that there's a some sort of rope cable attached to the end of the spear that leads back into the water. It quickly goes slack. Second AP, that's actually 2. It's going to hold its action. So Grum, it's your turn.
Okay. As I said, I wanted to grab the one out of the water, which was a 19 plus 4, which was 23 for the grapple.
You wouldn't be able to grapple. It used a range spell. It's not within melee range.
It's not within. Okay, that's what I was. So it is out there. Well, an attack with a jet. Ooh.
Let's put it at 15 feet away.
Ooh. It threw a spear at me
It did.
with a rope attached.
Yep.
I'm going to return the favor, but hold on to the rope since it went slack.
Sure.
In other words, I'm going to pick up that spear that has a rope on it and throw it.
You can definitely do that.
Okay. And again, the attack would be the same, which is a 19 plus 4, which is a 23.
So the spear does 1 piercing damage. You did a heavy hit on that one. So you do 3 damage to the creature.
Okay. Now that is 1 action point. Now, since I have held on to the rope, can I yank it out of the water?
That would be a pull action, and it would be contested. So you may make a athletics check to try to pull it out of the water.
Okay.
It will make a contested strength save or a might save to try to resist.
All right. That is a 7 + 6, which is a 13.
Good. It got a 9. You pull the beast bodily from the water.
Okay.
It lands with a thunk on the whatchamacallit. Oh, sorry. For pull options, you can pull a creature by using your own movement, by the way. So by pulling it 10 feet, or I think 15 feet, I said, you're using up your own movement to do so. And it would, I believe, be an action to pull it.
Okay. So, and my move speed is 4. So how much of my movement would that?
That would be 3. You're consuming 3 movement to pull it out.
I consume 3 movement to pull it out. Okay. See what other actions I can take.
While you're looking, the creature that you pull out is definitely some sort of beastkin. It has kind of amphibious features. Its skin is a jet black and oily black, and it has these very distinct tendrils or perhaps tentacles that extend from its chin. And it's kind of braided into what passes for this creature's hair. And at the end of these tendrils are these little hanging, glowing baubles.
Okay. So a second attack, which even if, and again, which would, again, if I wanted to make it a grapple, that would be a disadvantage because it's the second attack in the round, correct?
Correct. It's an attack check, yes.
Okay. I will make that attempt.
All right, that'll be a disadvantage. It will resist.
And that is a 9 + 4, which is 13.
It got an 11 plus 2 for a 13. You tie.
So what happens in a tie? That's interesting.
I'm going to say it saves.
Okay. And in that case, I will hold one of my action points.
Very well. Anything else in your turn?
Not currently, no.
No. All right. Well, luckily for me, the mage gets to go next. It probably fell prone. I'm trying to think if that would have given you any kind of advantage. Nah, it's still crawling around. All right, so it's going to use half its movement to stand up. That's 1 AP. It's going to look around and look terrified at you all, and it is surrounded. And it will begin to cast a spell, unless anyone can stop it. It is going to surround itself in an inky black darkness and try to dart off of the plankway that you're all standing on and get back into the water. Why that is relevant is the blackness will impose disadvantage on and pretty much any attacks coming in, but it is going to try to run. So if you would all like to make an attack of opportunity, please do. It will be a disadvantage.
I wasn't in melee with it, so I don't think I can attack of opportunity yet.
You know what? It's late. I'm going to give you an attack of opportunity.
Okay, it's on page 46, if that helps, and it says, prerequisite, any martial class feature trigger a creature you can see within your melee range uses its movement to leave your melee range, or stands up from prone.
It spells it out.
Or picks...
It spells it out as melee.
Yeah, page 46. Yeah.
You also have to be a martial class, which I am not.
I'm not.
Oh, well then. Can Grum?
I do have one action point left. I will use a knockback maneuver, which means I can push them 1 space and up to 1 additional space for every 5. By every 5, it fails the save by.
Okay.
So basically, I'm going to try and knock it aside as opposed to in the water. And you said it's a disadvantage.
What kind of save is it?
Well, that's interesting.
Well, if it's a save, it wouldn't matter.
It doesn't say. It is... okay, it goes against my save DC, which is a 14.
It fails miserably because it got a 3, and it doesn't have a +10 to anything. So
that would be 11 points, which is it gets knocked 3 spaces, and I'm moving it closer to land. So
okay, yeah. Let me see if that's a concentration spell. Does it do any damage?
It does not. It's just intended to move them, and there is no damage listed.
Okay. You manage to knock it back. It seems disoriented. Let's see. The ink veil is actually 2 AP. It has 1 AP left. It is going to take the You know what? Yeah, it would take the dodge action. Actually, I'm lying. It's going to use its lore. Its baubles on its chin flash really brightly. And when they do so, I need to ask everyone to make a, I don't know why, but it's a dex save in the rules. So it's a dex save against this. It's everywhere I found it. It's a dex.
7.
That's a fail.
4.
That's another fail.
17.
Loving this so far.
If it's charmed, intimidated, taunted, rattled, or frightened, let me know. I can counter charm.
It is blinded. Nope. But of note for you, when this creature is, when it uses some spells, you hear a sound, like a constant, it changes in tempo and pitch, but a constant sound is made whenever it tries to use a spell. Take from that what you will. That is its turn. So then we would go to Hefty. It's your turn.
Am I blind? I got a 17.
You are okay. You are not blinded. And for reference, blinded in this game, you make attacks at disadvantage. You make saves at disadvantage, and attacks against you have advantage.
As a bard, that's not really going to affect me. I don't really attack or save. So I'm just going to cast Blessed and do a bardic performance. And all right, so let's bardic performance. I spend 1 AP and 1 MP, so I go down to 6 MP, and I have 3 AP left. And I'm going to give you all +1 damage against one target of their choice on an attack they make once on each of your turns. So remember that you have +1 damage.
Cool.
And I'm only going to do one song, so I'm just going to list off the other stuff I do. The other stuff I do is Bless. Costs 2 AP and 1 MP, so I'm down to 5 MP and 1 AP. And I'm going to spend 2 additional MP. No, spend 2 MP. Yeah, 2 additional MP. Go down to 3 MP. You all have a D6 to every check or save before the spell ends.
Nice.
Very nice.
And that's concentration, just to remind myself. And then the last thing I'm going to do is, you said there's multiple enemies? Yes?
No. I muted myself to talk instead of, yes, there is a caster right in front of you, and there is someone throwing spears in the water.
Right. As my friends are kind of like melee range people, you want that water person up here with us, right? You don't want to like go drown with it. So, yeah, friends?
Sure, that will make it much easier. I was trying to keep the caster on shore so everybody can see it.
All right, so I'm going to command that one to come here. No, wait, that command is 2 action points. Never mind. I'm not going to do any spells.
It's all right. I got a way to get him towards us.
I guess I'm just going to attack. Yeah, because I only have 1 action point, so I am actually going to attack. Or I could message. Ooh, I can point my finger towards a creature I can see within range, and I can get the whole town here to attack these things. Yeah. Okay, so Niev, I'm going to spend my last action point, so it's a cantrip. I don't have to spend any mana on it. And I'll be like, Niev! So I point my finger towards a creature I can see within range and verbally whisper a message. The target hears the message in their head. They can reply back, but I don't care what she's saying. And range is 10 spaces. That's pretty far. Is that far enough, GM? I can spend
magic
fine.
to...
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fine.
So the last thing I do with my last action point is be like, reinforcements! Okay, so I hope reinforcements are coming. And so all of that happened. Y'all have +1 damage, plus D6 to all of your checks and saves. And here's the song that made it all happen. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while Finnet was sleeping. And the vision that was planted in Tessa's brain still remains within the sound of these things we're gonna kill.
Very nice. Anything else in your turn?
That was a good turn. A lot of stuff done.
Thank you. +1 damage to all my friends, plus D6 to all your checks.
And that completes your turn?
Yeah, and reinforcements are coming, I hope. See if Neve likes her very annoying Finnet Grey Shell enough to save.
All right. Well,
She
we
might
go back
not.
to their team. He's a troublemaker. So one of the anglers will go. And it's out of turn, but just thematically, the mage will kind of garble something very loudly. And what you'll see happen is the angler in the water is going to target Neve. And he chucks a spear at her.
Wait, I haven't
and
gone
that's
yet,
it.
though.
Did you guys have the same initiative? No, she had a
I thought
15,
he-
you had a 5.
Oh, I thought he already threw his spear at
Wait, hang on.
Grum early on. Because Grum
Yeah,
threw it
there's
back
another
at
one
him.
in the water.
Oh, okay.
There's a third one in the water. Sorry if that was confusing. But you just found out. The third one in the water will throw its spear at Neve. That's a dirty 20 to hit her. So the spear goes right into her leg. She screams horribly. And that's a little too late for that. But interestingly, there would be something to see visually. But you see her quickly get pulled into the water.
She's who I said to summon reinforcements. Darn.
Sure is, yeah.
Yeah, well, her scream probably did the same thing.
She does let out a mighty scream as she's pulled in. That
All the
angler
townspeople are like,
would...
whoa, what's that?
Yeah, what is that? Unfortunately, you are at one of the more remote locations in the town. Honestly, it can't do much. It's going to hold its action too. Now we would go to Freya. It's your turn. You're the last to go.
So mechanically speaking, what I'm doing is I'm casting Druid Domain, which I can spend 1 AP and 1 MP to create my own Druid Domain. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn to the mangrove trees and say, are you going to let the people you have sheltered for all this time be killed by these fish creatures? And then I'm going to create the Druid Domain and use Nature's Grasp to spend 1 AP point to force all of the creatures within my domain, which is 8 spaces wide. They are now, I can spend, it is difficult space for all of them to walk in now, as difficult terrain. I'm going to use Nature's Grasp on both of the spearmen in the water. And what that does is I force a creature within my domain to make repeated physical saves against my save DC. If they fail, they are grappled. And then I'm going to use Move Creature to pull Knave back out of the water. I can move a creature up to 2 spaces.
Interesting. Okay.
I'm sorry, first I have to use
There's
Nature's Grasp on her. So I'm grasping one spearman that grabbed her. I'm using the other one on her, and then I'm using my last action point to pull her out of the water.
Okay. She's going to resist because she's panicked, but she does not know what's happening, but she's at disadvantage. She's going to try to resist it. Let's do the spearman first, though. What's your DC? Your save DC?
14.
14. The spearman succeeds. You got a 19 on the die. The girl fails with a 2. You manage to entangle the girl.
Then I can
use your
move her 2
movement to pull her.
spaces. I can use my last AP to move her 2 spaces within my domain. So I'm going to pull her back out of the water and try to put her behind the party as best I can.
Okay. You pull her 2 spaces out. I think that would actually have her plunk right in front of you. You can use your remaining movement if you want to move her further. The spear is still embedded in her leg, though, with a line leading from it.
I am out of action points. Otherwise, I would heal her. But
Is there anything else in your turn, Freya?
that's all of my action points I can spend.
Okay. We're just about at time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this encounter up. We're going to go into the challenge sister, what's the term? I can't think of it right off the top of my head. Help a tired GM. I think we did to start the game.
Challenge?
Skill challenge.
Yes, thank you. We're going to do a skill challenge. They are going to try to jump into the water with the girl in tow and swim away. That is their whole modus operandi right now. If the party wants to stop them, let me know how you do it. We're going to do one final roll for each of you, and then we'll see what happens.
keep in mind they're moving through difficult terrain. Does that make any impact on them?
Absolutely. This will make the impact. Depending on what you do, I'll probably give advantage to your rolls, something like that. Disadvantage to them. Let's go in turn order. Grum, you would be first. What would you like to do?
Okay. So, since again, they have essentially a spear in Niev with a rope against it, with a rope attached to it, and that's what they're trying to use it to drag her. I want to use athletics to intercept that rope and yank back very hard.
All right. Let's do a contested roll, shall we?
Okay. So is that still at disadvantage for the blindness, 1, or the skill check's just flat?
Let's do it flat.
Okay. And it's still with the D6 from Hefty.
Yes, you still have your bless. Yes.
Okay.
Yay.
So that would be a 6. Oh, that's very nice. 6, 5, that's 11. And 13 is 24 total.
Wow. Yeah.
So
you succeed heartily. It got a 16. So it yanks back, but you yank stronger. And you are technically one size larger, theoretically, for mechanic wise. So you yank this thing out of the water. It looks very similar to the caster. It's an oily black. It has the baubles hanging from its chin. This one is clearly more of a rugged adventuring type. It's wearing leather and coral in an armament kind of fashion, where the other one is wearing more loose-fitting caster type objects. But that was a 24, so that is... You got 2 successes from that one. Okay. Next would be Hefty. What would you like to do?
Are there 2 still in the water?
One is remaining in the water. He just pulled one out. There's a mage and a spearman out of the water.
Okay. So the one remaining in the water is something that I think I'll deal with that one. And then I'll let Freya deal with the ones out of the water. Because I think out of the water, it's easier to deal with these water creatures. In the water, this one might escape and torment the town later. So to prevent it from coming back, I think I should sing it a nice lullaby and make it go to sleep, and it can bob to the surface, and we can gently bring it into land and slit its throat. So let's sing it a nice lullaby. And that's going to be sleep. It's a spell, and it actually affects lots of things. If I spend the rest of my MP, it doesn't matter how much HP this thing has. This spell can affect 10 HP worth of creatures for every success plus 2 HP and spend more MP. So I just have 3 MP to dump into this. So I can be like, spend 1 MP to increase the HP affected by 10. So even if it has like 35 HP, I'm still going to blast it with a sleep spell. So creatures' HP must be equal to or less than the remaining total. Subtract these creatures' HP. Yeah, so hitting one thing with 3 MP makes sleep super effective.
Pretty nasty, yeah. Is that a roll to hit, or is it going to save?
Make a DC 10 spell check, but my auto add is 10. So...
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to do a quick little lullaby here for this amazing water creature. And I'm going to say, twinkle, twinkle, little starfish, how I wonder what you are, you horrible monster. Up above the water surface, there are people you keep trying to eat. Twinkle, twinkle, little starfish, you're not gonna wake up again.
Would you like to do a roll just for giggles, just to see how you do?
That's a 6, so plus 10 is 16, but unless it has more than 35 HP.
No, it's still a success. Lastly, Freya, what would you like to do? One of them passes out in the water.
The girl is safe, right? Nobody's getting pulled away now?
It doesn't appear to be, no, yeah.
I would like to use tethering vines on the mage that's trying to get back in the water so that we can hold him here and he can be held accountable for abducting children.
Sure.
So I roll 14 plus 4 is 17.
17. That's also
I'm sorry, 18.
2 successes. 18.
Remember your D6 to checks or saves.
18 plus...
You might as well.
19, 20, 21.
21. That's actually a very good success. So we will bring this to a close as you wrap up the caster. There is one bobbing in the water. One is on the ground. He looks panicked. You can hold him with your difficult terrain. And Niev is on the ground screaming, but what will is relevant is this will bring a lot of the villagers, and they come running very quickly. And as you can tell, they all grab spears and nets. This is a hardy community that is willing to fight for itself if they have a target, and you all just gave them one. Of interest, as they run, you'll hear it is the Deep Dwellers. And as you look down at Niev on the ground in pain, you might see her skin kind of ripple and change a bit as every now and then it looks like underneath you catch a little flash of dark black. But the town villagers will... Go ahead.
I'm going to say, I would just cast heal on her with some of my magic points and fix
that would be most welcome. Once you hopefully extract the spear first.
Yeah, obviously.
I've closed the wound around the spear. That's going to be way more painful later. You're welcome.
If Crumb hadn't pulled the fish person out, I was going to use medicine to yank the spear out of her leg. So she got off easy.
But the villagers will rally. They will tie up and otherwise restrain their attackers. And that is where we will end the evening. Thank you all for playing. I hope you all enjoyed the game and had a fun time with the DC 20. Signing us off, Grum, would you do the honors?
It just seemed like two sets of hunters on either side. It was very interesting, but it's good we saved the village.
Very nice. Freya.
I assume the village will now come out for the fish fry for the giant fish we brought.
And... lastly, Hefty, would you play us off, please? Thank you all very much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.